Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather. I'm going to quickly run through the scores from round 12. Obviously I haven't been doing this the last couple of weeks because I was away on holiday. I've not had the time, so we'll run through round 12 anyway quickly. On Thursday then, the 13th of August 2020, it was the Swans versus the Giants at the Optus Stadium, Western Australia there out in Perth. Swans took this one 66-25. I thought they were very, very good indeed. And opposite, likewise, I don't think the Giants are anywhere near the form that we've got familiar with from them, particularly 2019. They managed to score 25 points, which was the same amount of points as they managed in the grand final last year, of course, against the Tigers, who absolutely battered them that day. But 66-25 in this Sydney derby in Western Australia. But anyway, look. That's 2 losses in a row now. That's out of the last 6 games then. That one is 4 defeats and 2 wins for the Giants, which is not very good in their standard. And likewise, the Swans, they've managed the same amount. On a Friday then, 14th, Geelong versus Port at the Metricon. Obviously, we're back up in Queensland now for Port. Geelong, they finished their games in Western Australia, haven't they? Geelong were going into this with 2 wins. Port were going into this with 3 wins in a row. I fancied Port for the win, and do you know what? Geelong were magnificent, and again, a lot like the Giants, Port were very, very poor. They couldn't even do the simple things right. I was really disappointed. Robbie Gray couldn't kick straight even 10 metres, he was giving the ball away. You had Travis Boak, so many players that we've been so impressed with so far this year for Port just didn't turn up. I'm quite sure they'll bounce back from this defeat. It was a huge defeat. They lost by 60 points. Geelong were great. Hawkins was phenomenal. He was incredible. Took so many contested marks. He's kicked 6 goals. A couple of assists in there as well. Score involvements. Really good game at the office for Tom Hawkins. So that actually puts him top in the goal kicking race for the Coleman. I think he's on 30 goals now. In second place, Josh Kennedy, who like him, also had a phenomenal weekend this weekend. But we'll get to that further on down the games. But anyway, as I've said, Port, I did cover this game. Port not playing... never played the game like they have been playing. I'm sure they'll bounce back, but very disappointing by the standards that they've set so far for themselves in 2020. And Geelong, that's 3 wins in a row now for the Cats. Incredible run of form there, and now 4 wins out of the last 5 games going into round 13. Well done, Cats. North Melbourne are first up on the Saturday then against the Lions. This one was actually an arm wrestle most of the way. I think Lions were pretty comfortable up until like the last quarter or so in this game, where North Melbourne fought back. They were really unfortunate not to come away with a win at the end, but the Lions, as I've said in the video, held on by the skin of their teeth. Imagine managing to win this game by a single point, 53-52. That's 3 losses in a row now for North going into round 13, and 2 wins now for the Lions. Of course, they had that loss the week before, in 2 weeks before in round 11 or round 10. Sorry, and that was. Let me just get back to you on that. I've got a couple of rounds. We'll go back to see that game was for them. That was the Tigers, 82-41, doubled the scoreline, 82-41 to the Tigers in round 10. That was the Lions' defeat. So actually, if you're looking at it for over 6 weeks then, the Lions have won 5. So they're still very much a strong side, although they made a bit of hard work out of that North Melbourne game, considering North Melbourne actually haven't been fantastic. They're sitting at 17th in the ladder this year, so they're not doing very well. I thought they started pretty well, didn't they? And they've dropped off quite a bit. But that was at the Metricon. On to the Gabba then for another game on Saturday. Melbourne versus Collingwood. This was incredible for the days. Not so good if you're a Magpies fan. I'm going to ask this question, not out of being cheeky, but just out of Collingwood fans. Please answer me this. Has your time with Nathan Buckley at the helm ran its course? I want honest answers here. I don't know enough about the man in charge as the head coach, as the manager of the Collingwood Football Club, but I just don't see any progression so far. Yes, they sit in 7th, they're in the top 8, but some people might reckon they're completely deflated with this campaign so far in 2020, and it's really not been good by Collingwood standards. Very low scoring side in 2020. Let me go through their last scores. I know they've actually had a decent enough scoreline in amongst us. This is the last 4 weeks. Collingwood 62-38, they beat the Crows, who are technically the worst side in the competition right now. Very low scoreline to be scoring against them. 62-38 in round 11. Round 10, Collingwood 50-41 against the Swans. Again, sitting quite low on the table at 15th. And that was round 10. Round 9, Collingwood got beat off Freo 61-49, and even way back, you remember back to round 2 where they played Richmond and got the draw. Really low scoring game. They've been low scoring, but what's helped Collingwood get some wins is the fact that defensively they've been pretty good, but even that's now starting to show cracks. So Collingwood fans, I do ask this question genuinely and not patronisingly. Do you think Nathan Buckley's time is up as your head coach, considering you're all, and I know you're all going to come back to me, we've had so many injuries, Donfather, so many. All that being said, even when before the injuries were had started coming, suspensions, etc., these problems were still there. Low scoring, but I suppose defensively strong, but it's still not to the Collingwood standard. You'd imagine that they would have enough in reserve to bypass the Crows with a much bigger scoreline than that, but they haven't managed. Swans, likewise, you think they would probably been more convincing. Weren't good against Freo. Are these injuries the reason why you're losing these games, or is it something bigger than that? Please answer that question in the comment section below. Anyway, don't want to make a mountain out of a possible molehill for Collingwood fans there. It's just something I've been seeing, but you got slapped 100-44 of Melbourne, who were fantastic. And one player that needs to be mentioned right now from Melbourne has to be Petrarca. He is up there. He's got to be up there, although I would say he's kind of behind him. Lucky Neil for the Brownlow. If he can keep playing like this, he's got to be definitely in the minds of the umps for the votes in this vein of form. And he's certainly, with a performance like that, doing his chances no harm whatsoever, is he? But really good performance. A couple of players there I'm really enjoying. Young Pickett as well. Fritsch is always pretty good to watch, but Petrarca is the main man. Another player to mention, 298 games was it? Or something like that, or 92 games for Big Jones at the back for Melbourne. Absolutely brilliant. He was phenomenal at the back, actually. Defensively, Melbourne were good, only conceding 44 while they scored 100. So brilliant performance for them at the Gabba. That's 3 wins in a row now for Melbourne as well. I just want to say that before we go. And actually, looking at the stats on paper, in the last 6 rounds for Collingwood, they've managed 2 wins, 4 losses. That's why the question has to be asked. Freo then at Carlton, last game on Saturday at the Optus. Freo fans will feel very aggrieved at this one, although the last kick to win the game from Carlton was like something out of a fucking movie. Unbelievable kick from the boundary line, great goal to win it, but very heartbreaking and hard pill to swallow. I've seen a lot of complaints about umps in this game, some most against Carlton, that was from Carlton fans, but also there was one that was for them as well, that actually helped them to win the game. That was a controversial decision that I was told. So 40-36 at the Optus Stadium in Western Australia. Freo winning run is over now, 2 wins in a row now lost, and Carlton back to winning ways. Both teams managed 3 wins in the last 6 weeks, 3 losses. On to Sunday then, Bulldogs versus Crows at the Metricon. Just get a sip of coffee here 1 second. Thank you very much. Bulldogs versus the Crows at the Metricon anyway. Bulldogs were going into this one with 3 straight losses. I've been really disappointed in the Bulldogs of late. The Crows obviously have lost like 477 games in a row, so I don't need to tell you their form. 0-12 now, isn't it, for crying out loud? Anyway, Bulldogs won 111-54. Players to mention, Naughton, young Naughton, great to see the astronaut back, chipping in with 6 goals. He's got his shooting boots on, which is fantastic to see. But the main player that has to be mentioned is Bailey Smith. I think he had up to 7 disposals, Basilenka, and I absolutely love that young gun. Incredible footy player, and I think Bontempelli wasn't too far out behind him, and Jack McRae's never usually too far away with disposals as well. So fantastic to see the Bulldogs back to winning ways, but you would have bet against them, you would have bet for them to win that, sorry, but great to get the percentages up as well. 111, 54 at the Medricon. Well done, the doggies. On to the Gabba again then, and we've got St Kilda versus Essendon. And St Kilda have been a revelation this year. I'm not joking you, I absolutely love watching them. Such positive footy they play. I'm not going to rattle off the names. I've rattled out so many names over the last weeks of what I've enjoyed from St Kilda. But do you know what? They're sitting now 5th in the ladder. Very, very foreign to them, that position. But by God, they've been value for it. Really enjoying. Not just the fact that they're winning, the way they're playing, attacking, aggressive footy. It's a pleasure to watch. It wasn't the very most high scoring game, 68-33 to St Kilda, but it was just a privilege to watch a team actually just want to attack. Really enjoyable, free flowing, fast footy. Well done, St Kilda. That is 5 wins and 1 loss out of the last 6 weeks. Well done, the Saints. Oh, when the Saints! Pardon me for the outburst. West Coast Eagles that I was going to mention, obviously, Josh Kennedy kicking a few goals in this game, having a lot of score involvements as well. The Hawks are absolutely crumbling like pastry right now. They're sitting 16th, which is insane to talk about it. Defensively, I've got to say this, out of a team that I thought wouldn't be, I didn't think they would be great. I thought they would be sitting around 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th battle, that kind of area, fighting for 8th spot. That's what I would have predicted before a footy was kicked in anger. And the reason why I think they are so bad, well, it's everything. Offensively, they look void of ideas, but defensively, they make me ill to watch. They are all over the place. I'm not a stats man. I don't like stats that much. I don't know, you're probably going to tell me statistically this player's done this, that. I don't care about stats. They look all over the place when you watch the game. They're frightening. If I was Clarkson right now, I would be going up to the stairs and going, I'm done with this mob. I can't coach this. This is fucking a lost cause. He does not want to wreck the phenomenal name that he's made for himself at that footy club. There's a time to say, look, listen, when the going's good, it's good. You've got to realise that it's probably, I don't know if they need a new coach in. I wouldn't like to say that. He's a legend at the club. If he leaves, it's on his terms. But I'm starting to think when you look at the way they're all over the place, it's possibly time to just go, fuck that, I'm done. I'm not tarnishing my name anymore for this group of fraudsters that are at the Hawks right now. And I say that in the nicest possible way. And that is due to the fact of how big a footy club the Hawthorn Football Club are. The success they've had is incredible. They've got a great fan base there as well. But surely you all can admit to yourself, this is not a team worthy of wearing your famous brown and golden stripes. Surely to hell not. But anyway, 81-49, and you know what? The West Coast Eagles are in frightening form. Absolutely frightening form. They find themselves now 4th in the ladder, but I would argue in a few weeks' time they'll be top. Based on the way they're dismantling teams now, from back to front, there is not a weak link. I just absolutely love Nick Naitanui. I think he's by far, and I mean by far when I say this now, the best ruckman in the competition, and that is a huge statement. But if you know how much I admire and respect Brodie Grundy as a ruckman, you know that I'm not saying this lightly when I say that he's by far the best ruckman. Brodie Grundy's not been in great form, but Nick Naitanui, see when he is on, he is just on. It's just, he just sees and does things that no other ruckman in the competition can do. Brodie Grundy can get up there and win them, but it's what Nick Naitanui can do thereafter. He just drives that team forward, and he's not the only player that needs mentioned. There's so many. I've just mentioned Kennedy, but there's so many players that I could rattle off at the West Coast Eagles. They are just littered, and I mean littered with talent. A pleasure to watch. That's 6 wins now. Obviously I go by the 5 weeks before it for my predictions, the 5 rounds before it for my predictions, and then obviously the round that's just happened hasn't given me that 6. But I don't know how many that is on the bounce now for West Coast Eagles victories. I'm going to have to check that stat out. But incredible. Josh Kennedy then, I did say for the Coleman race between him and Tom Hawkins. Hawkins on 30. Josh Kennedy is on 27, but I think possibly Josh Kennedy's had more score involvements when you include behinds. Again, something I need to double check. And I think Butler maybe in 3rd place from St Kilda. So, do you know what? They're starting to tear away they two now. It could be a 2-horse race in the next few weeks. But really, really good stuff. As I said, Geelong have found form. There's 3 wins in a row, and obviously I've just mentioned West Coast Eagles form. On to the last game. Happened today then, and I've read quite a bit of reports. I was working, I've read quite a bit of reports that Richmond have had help from their friends in this game. The men in yellow, the umps have been pretty generous from what I've read to Richmond. Let me know in the comments section below if you agree with that statement. It's not coming from me, it's just from what I've read, that Richmond have had a little bit of help from friends there in yellow in this game against the Gold Coast Suns at the Gabba. They won 53-32. Can't possibly comment on the game. I think Tom Lynch maybe got a couple, but I really can't comment on the game as I did not watch it and I haven't yet seen the highlights. So that's a roundup of the games anyway. And I will get my predictions in. I think the first game in round 13 is Friday. Of course, the footy frenzy is now over. It was relentless. I don't know, what did you think of the footy frenzy? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Of course, nobody's really getting a chance to attend games in Melbourne anyway, so, and obviously New South Wales. We're not getting games in Victoria and New South Wales. So, what have you thought of the footy frenzy? Of course, it's probably been one of the only ways of actually getting these fixtures done is by having constant games due to the limited amount of grounds that they've got to play the footy games at, and obviously the hubs. Family, players, teams, families, all in one area. You want to get as many games done as quickly as you can get them done, and then you get about your business again. Round 13, the 21st, is it? Friday the 21st? Or the 17th today. I think it's Friday the 21st anyway. The first game up on round 13. I will get my predictions done. Don't know if I'll do them on Thursday or Wednesday. I might even do them straight away, to be honest with you, because I can't see too much changing. Of course, I shouldn't really jump the gun. Injuries can happen, etc. But I think because there was a footy frenzy, it'll all be about recovery. I don't expect too many injuries due to the fact that I can imagine the minutes that these guys have been putting in over the last wee while, it'll be about recovery before Friday and not a lot of sort of training with the footy as such, and very low risk of injury as well. So I'd expect many of the personnel that they've already been available, possibly more to come back for other teams as well. So maybe on that note I should possibly delay my predictions video. But anyway, great footy. Like, it is what it is. We've got to make the best of a bad situation. We've had footy frenzies, we've had hubs, we've had places getting shut down. Obviously Melbourne's quarantining. We've had so many hurdles after hurdle after hurdle. I'm going to remain positive. I'm enjoying the footy that I've watched. Team of the weekend, I'm going to go with Melbourne. I thought fantastic result against Collingwood. Possibly Petrarca for the player of the weekend as well, just because he was just in inspired form. West Coast Eagles obviously in the most dominant form. St Kilda, probably my most enjoyable team to watch right now, just because they're an underdog and they're just playing nice stuff and they're winning. So credit to them, and well done everybody that got the win anyway. But look, that's how the ladder looks. In the top we've got Port Adelaide, Brisbane 2nd, Geelong Cats 3rd, West Coast Eagles 4th, St Kilda 5th, Richmond 6th, Collingwood 7th, Melbourne 8th, well done Melbourne, the Giants 9th, Bulldogs in 10th, found themselves back down the ladder a wee bit there, so 10th for the Bulldogs, Essendon 11th, Carlton 12th, Gold Coast Suns are the ones that are missing, the Magnets lost, they're sitting in 13th. Which is pretty good based on 2019 form, really, isn't it? Fremantle Dockers 14th, Swans 15th, Hawthorn, there you go, Hawthorn 16th, North are in 17th, and the Crows, they'd be as well just falling off that ladder right now, and they probably want to have to just swallow them up and take them away. They're not going to win a game this year on this form, are they? I can't see them beating anyone if I'm being brutally honest. But there you have it, just a little bit of a chat about the ladder, players, etc. and obviously the scores of round 12. Thanks very much everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also leave comments on those few questions I've asked. If there's anything you'd like to talk about in the weekend that you think I should have added, please feel free to comment on that. But ultimately, don't forget to subscribe and leave the thumbs up. It does help the channel grow. Also, in the description section below, we've got our patrons page. I'd love it if you could become a patron. There's so many little things that I'll do for you if you become a patron, little perks that other people won't get. If you don't want to sign up to something, however, and you'd like to donate to help the channel's Oz trip, donate, get us to Oz, it's in there, just fire in whatever you can afford. Every little helps out. It's all going to go in the pot to funding the Oz trip for the AFL. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff's in the description section below. Also our merchandise, TDC, Gladiator merchandise. AFL is a gladiator sport. Gladiator badge with the TDC logo on it. It makes perfect sense. Not using any copyrighted stuff. And also I'm doing a face mask. Look, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, the face masks aren't cheap. It's not my fault, I would have tried to make them cheaper, but the company that supplies them through YouTube, it's much easier for merchandise. Click on it, order it to your address, and away it goes. Cut out me trying to go down to the mail office and post things, and before you know it, I'm asking for this money, that money, that. They do it themselves. They're not cheap, but if you'd like a Gladiator TDC logo mask, obviously because of this current situation we find ourselves in, feel free to buy one there as well. I've got one, so I'll be showing it off to you. Look, nobody wants to wear masks, but we've got to wear them, but why not look cool as fuck doing it? Anyway, thanks very much everyone, I'll see you all soon, and goodbye. Cheers.